What is good, guys? My name is DFree and welcome back, because today I will be talking about the latest episode of Dragon Ball Super. I'm going to keep this really short and concise. I really did thoroughly enjoy this episode. There was a lot of information in here, so I'm going to try to knock this out. I really don't have a lot of time, so forgive me if I forget to talk about anything here. But basically, the recap for the episode is just, I love how I'm doing these condensed recaps. But the recap for the episode is that these guys basically fight. Black returns back to his time, and Vegeta has a sentimental moment with his future version son, or his son from the future, and they basically proclaim that they're going to the future via the time machine that Cell left. So just to kind of talk about it here, some of the things I really liked in this episode was the way that the action was. I really do like the animation. It was kind of all over the place in that it just looked really, really good 99% of the time, but there was a few spots where I was like, whatever. But I did like, and I like the choreography, especially when like Goku was blocking those hits from Black, and I was like, it looks really, really good here, especially because Goku was like in Super Saiyan 2 and his hair looked awesome. It was a huge step up from the previous episode too. But another thing I really did like is the way that Black is, he's a guy that he was just like, oh, so you're Son Goku. Oh, wait, there's the Hakaioshin or whatever it is, the god of destruction, Peterson. He was like, oh, it's Vegeta too. He's like, he's aware of his surroundings, okay? He knows who these guys are. He also, he didn't know how strong Goku was, but he actually was like Goku in that he wanted to fight a stronger opponent, or somebody that seemed to be a stronger opponent. I like that he's like that. His personality is really interesting to me, although he's kind of demented because obviously he's going to be the villain. He's got to be kind of evil, but I do like some of the similarities he shares with the Goku character. And another thing that was kind of interesting in this episode was that he was like, oh, I'm going to fight you. I'm going to learn how to fight in this body. He said something to that effect. Forgive me if I'm incorrect with the exact terminology, but he was like, in this body. And it's like, whoa, so maybe that's Goku's body. Does that mean that's Goku's body, but obviously not Goku's soul in there because it's not Goku? Does that mean that somebody is controlling Goku's body? Interesting. Because obviously he says in this body, that means that it's something else beneath that. You see that black blob thing? I doubt it. I think that was just a way to play up, the anticipation of seeing who he really was in that first episode of this arc. But, it'll be interesting to see who he is. I don't think he's a Masu or whatever the case is. There's a lot of videos. I've even done one about maybe what his potential identity really is. And we'll find out in the next couple of episodes here. But I did think that was pretty interesting. Another interesting thing is that, as I talked about in the previous episode review, the show does this thing where they kind of just are like, oh, this person's Super Saiyan 1, so everybody Super Saiyan 1 is equivalent to him. By that measure, let me say it like this, by that measure, Goku and Vegeta being around equal strength, barring Kaioken times 10 or whatever, that would mean that Trunks is Super Saiyan 2, since it fought evenly with Goku's. Even though Goku was kind of toying around, obviously, we know this, he still held his own. That would mean that Trunks is significantly stronger than Kaba was in the tournament, and I don't think that's really true. But then again, I don't think Kaba really could or should have at least been able to match up with Vegeta. So the show does this weird thing where they make everybody's versions of the form, no matter who they are, equally strong. And that's just a really weird thing, because you would think logically all the training that Goku and Vegeta have gone through, there's no way in hell Trunks should be anywhere near as strong as them, or even Kaba for that matter. But, it is what it is. And what I was getting to, though, is that Black doesn't seem like a very strong character. He seems like a guy that is not strong in that he's never really fought anybody stronger than Trunks. So he was just adapted to Trunks and was basically just a little bit ahead of him. So that's why Trunks was able to survive this whole time and all that stuff, because Black was stronger, but it doesn't seem like he was significantly stronger. And that's actually alluded to in the episode where Goku was like, hey, compared to when you fought him, how strong was he just now? And Trunks was like, oh, he's a bit stronger, yeah. Because Black is a guy that is hit in that he has a lot of potential. He seems like he has limitless potential for battle, and he could just keep getting stronger and stronger. I do kind of like that mechanic, how the show is doing that, where they're just like, this guy can get stronger and he can adapt, similar to Goku, and that's Goku's nature. Or there's just Saiyans in general with their Zenkai boosts. I do like the way that the show is doing that, as opposed to saying, this guy is this guy, and he's been around for X number of years, we just didn't know about him, like a Beerus was, for example. I don't like it in the context of Frieza, because it was overplayed in that you would think that even though he's never trained, It's just really weird. I'm not going to get into all that, but it's just overplayed with Frieza. But I do like it with guys that start off significantly weaker in the context of Black here. And I do like Hit in the way that his Tokido Bashi just kept getting stronger. He increased the time of it. I do like the concept of that. I think that's a really good idea. And another thing that I did like about this episode was Vegeta's sentimental moment with his son at the end. Trunks is losing hope because before Black left, he destroyed the time machine. That actually, on a side note, that really had me confused for a second. I was like, wait, why do you want to destroy the time machine? You want to kill this guy, but you're trapping him there. And so he goes back to his time. He's like, oh, the only guy I was fighting is no longer here. So basically he made it seem like now he has no real resistance. So now he can do whatever he wants to do to that Earth. So it really puts his motives, to question me, like, what is this guy really doing with that Earth? What does he want to do? Does he want to destroy it and build it up on some next level type stuff? Like, what is his motivation there? Because Trunks was the only real guy that could oppose him in any way, and Trunks really couldn't oppose him like that because he couldn't beat him, obviously. He couldn't stop his mother from dying. So, like, what does he want to do? So, that did kind of raise an eyebrow for me, like, when he destroyed it. But, Vegeta walks over to him. He's like, Trunks is like, oh, I'm stuck here. I lost. I didn't fulfill my promise, all that stuff. And Vegeta's like, don't give up hope. And I was like, damn. And the soundtrack, too. It's like, man, this is why I love Dragon Ball Super. I don't love it for the action. I don't love it for the craziness and the transformations. I don't give a damn about any of that shit. What I like about this show and what I've always wanted to see is progression for these characters. That is all I care about. And looking at Vegeta, from the last time he saw Trunks in the Cell Saga to the Vegeta he is now, although he had a big moment at the end where he freaked out when Trunks died versus Cell in that fight versus Cell, he was completely standoffish to Trunks. He didn't want to take him in the chamber. He didn't even want to acknowledge his existence, He didn't even acknowledge the baby's existence, Like he just like a totally different character now to see this guy walk up to his son and say, hey, don't give up. Like, damn, like just that's why I love this show, aside from the comedy, which I'm going to get into in a moment. Just Vegeta is just awesome character development. He's had some of the best in this series, and this just Dragon Ball Super in its entirety, from start to finish, from the revelation he didn't want to become a Super Saiyan God to, trying to train and figure out the power on his own to, basically humbling himself to Whis. He's had so many different moments. I really do love that. But getting into the last kind of thing I wanted to talk about in this episode, the one thing I didn't really like, typically I'm a big fan of the Pilaf gang, but they just didn't fit this episode, man. They really did it, and they came in at the worst times. People have been saying that, they throw off the pacing of the show. I don't really see it that much. It doesn't bother me because I like it. The change of pace is always nice. But in this episode, they were just like, yeah, oh, we're going to put out the fire. And I was like, really? They're not even concerned about the fire. Trunks just got trapped in this timeline. Like, that was totally misplaced. And that's the only real gripe I had about the episode. But let me know your favorite part of the episode as well. Was it the fighting, whatever the case is? Just let me know down below in the comment. I would appreciate it. And that's it for me, guys. I'll see you next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, all that other good stuff. Peace out.